Wait.
You could. All right.
You have. Yeah, you have you have Megumi and Naobito above Jogo. So what's your I'm curious because when they all saw him, they did say that Jogo was just on another level from the previous curse spirit that they fought, and it was quite an implication as to this guy. I don't know if we could beat this thing. So what's your thoughts on
that? I think I'm fine with like Dagon being like kind of over. I mean, Jogo being kind of over Dagon in terms of just like his output in a sense, where like I think his domain's probably more refined and he probably has like greater crit energy. I don't know about like specifics though when it comes to like something like speed or whatever. Maybe more AP, but I wouldn't be charitable enough to give it to speed.
I mean, Naobito can't even react to Jogo. You know that, right?
One arm when he's.
I don't think. Yeah, even if he has one arm, like it's a really bad blitz, and I don't think your arm missing is gonna impair your reaction to curse energy.
No, it says it does though. It kind of implies it at least. So
when it happens, no, I don't think so. Go post it.
Okay, I got you.
Because they say this guy's on another level and he one shots Naobito. So
yeah, I'll grab.
I don't know what your scaling is to say he's massively stronger than him. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, got you. 111, I think. Let me see. Yeah, 111. Okay, so I'll send the panels, but it just says Naobito was, like at his strongest, and he's like was the second fastest sorcerer when he had like his two arms, and then we see him freezing, and that's when they like specify like he only had these attributes when he had two arms.
Post the scans.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, that argument. I know what you're gonna try arguing. That shit is horrible. I'm not gonna. Let me close my door. That is so bad.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the panels, but.
What are you posting?
Yeah, I put in scan.
When this technique is activated, how there's more risk. Naruto became known as fast jutsu sorcerer other than Satoru Goju. He still had his right arm. Oh, okay. So they talk about how he's the fastest jujutsu sorcerer while explaining his curse technique. So this has nothing to do with what I was talking about in terms of reacting, because I'm not even talking about like movement speed. He can't even like react to the pillars that get popped up behind him. You know that, right?
Yeah, I think he's just unable to move because he froze or whatever.
What's your evidence for that?
Okay. So
actually, look at the panel. If you look at the panel, hold on. Like, actually, just go ahead and say what you're gonna say first before you say it. Okay. I'm gonna invite somebody here.
Cool. But yeah, right before this, he's like able to like almost like kind of perception with stuff. He goes behind him. Jogo catches him with the volcano. They talk about how he has this crazy technique and how due to his timing, they're gonna specify what made him the fastest. It's mostly his reaction.
Your mic is muffled. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah. Okay. Is it better now?
No, it's the same microphone. You didn't even change anything.
No, your mic is fucking dog shit now, bro.
Give me a sec.
He said he froze. That. Yeah, I'm gonna love him to attempt to evidence this shit. It's literally impossible to. He froze. He froze. That's oh my god. He just made that up. He just made that up. Okay.
Okay, should be good now. Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Say your argument.
Okay, so basically right before this, he also like go behind Jogo. Jogo turns around, he does this, right? And they like specify like the reason he was the fastest is because of his reaction ability and timing. right? And then they say he loses this attribute of having this like second fastest timing when he loses his second arm. Right after they say that, he just gets caught by Jogo.
So you just made all of that up. I think so. So when they talk about him, because first off, you didn't send a scan evidencing that when he lost his arm, he became any slower. That's one.
It's right here. It's right here.
The scan says he's.
Yeah,
okay, you just
he says
that one.
he was the
Okay.
second fastest. No, this is the one that proves it.
I got a banner champion. And Belva. Okay. This scan has nothing to. This scan does not say what you're saying, Tanwin. What are you talking about?
The one I just sent, because you said I have no justification for my stuff.
Tanwin, stop for 2 seconds. I'm gonna read all three of your scans, right? While the technique is activated, anything touched by Naobito's pawn must also abide by the 124 FPS rule, right? And then it starts talking about his curse technique, and then it says, with his natural born sense of strategic framing and timing, which is talking about his curse technique, Naobito became So you just dropped what you were talking about earlier.
That's not what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is I agree they talk about his curse technique. What I'm saying is they say that he was the second fastest only when he had two arms. That's what
they never say that. Like in none of your scans do they ever say that. You know
okay. It's at the end of the first one, and they say, however, that was when he still had his right arm. They say that verbatim. Yeah.
Okay, let me pull it up. But yeah, Naobito became known as the but that's they're talking about movement speed. I'm talking about his reaction time.
No, they say because of his natural born strategic framing and timing. That's reaction.
That's talking about his curse technique that they were just had an entire middle panel talking about. Okay. So he's unable to execute that. Tanwin. Okay, but that's movement speed. That's hindering movement speed. It's good that you agree on that because they're talking about hindering his movement speed, talking about his curse technique. So what I'm saying is that him being able to just react to cursed energy appearing behind him not even being able to react to it at all or like turn his head, is such a ridiculous blitz that he just like even at the beginning of the fight, even if he had his right arm, Jogo would just one shot his ass. They literally
do you know why?
They make it really clear that he's just on another level than Dagon was. And they had
I think reaction and movement in this case is correlated because you know why he can't turn around? Because it's predetermined movements. He can't change his movements.
Predetermined movements.
Yeah, that's what projection sorcery is. He predetermines 24 movements.
Okay, again, and I don't think in the movement speed and the reaction speed that we're both talking about necessarily correlate because
why not?
I'm talking about even being able to just like turn his head and like visibly like understand that like the threat is there because he knows
he can't do that, bro.
The thing is he knows the threat is there, right?
Yeah.
And he just can't react to it at all. But that has nothing to do with like movement speed. So you'd have to evidence his movement speed being hindered. You know that, right? Not his movement, his reaction time being hindered.
Okay. And your basis for his reaction time and his movement speed being like not correlated is because he's unable to even turn around. And I say that's because the predetermined movements don't allow him to turn around. He can't. He literally cannot turn around. He'd freeze. And that's what I'm saying he does. He freezes.
Wait. What? You're saying he freezes, and what's your evidence for that?
Yeah, it says it. If you like change your 24 movements, it says you just freeze. Like if you stop.
If you change the frames?
No, okay. It says in addition to trajectory of the movements or the laws of physics, if they're ignored, the user will freeze. I'll show you.
Trajectory of the movement.
Yeah.
However, there's a risk once started, the predetermined court. Okay, but do you understand like how it's okay, give me a second because my game just started. Okay. Yeah, I don't even think he was using projection sorcery right at this time, by the way.
What?
I'm dead serious.
Make sure to emphasize that this whole thing is projection sorcery.
Give me a second. I'll pull it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm in game. Okay.
Okay.
So, show me the Okay. Show me a couple panels. Show me the full. Can you post the full interaction for me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I was just talking about how they make a reference to that he's on another level, and that's why he's just killing everybody in the panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like heavily narratively implied that they were struggling with Dagon before.
This is the on another level statement, and this is the whole interaction with Naobito in order. There you go. Yeah.
Oh my god, they're trying to steal my buff. Where are my buffs at? Okay. It's 2. Okay. I'm playing League while debating you. Just give me a second.
You're good.
Okay. So what's the condition for freezing?
Okay, so if you like, so you know how like you predetermine 24 movements?
Mm-hmm.
If you like change your movements mid-movement, then like you just freeze for a second.
Okay. Did he change his movements mid-movement?
You're saying he just suddenly realized that those things were behind him, no?
No, not necessarily. I think he was actually just standing there from what we know, and then he actually like watched his friend die because they didn't even like.
He wasn't standing there. He starts running before this.
He was standing there for a second. He just got there because listen, he gets there and then his friend dies. So he was sitting there for a second actually. That's incorrect.
I don't think so. Okay,
let me show you. Look at your panels. Like he's literally his friend. Like there's one where it's like there's like a triple bounce. Like there's a bounce off the wall. His friend dies. His friend dies as he gets there. So that means there's an interval of time while he was in that same spot, and then his friend died. You know that, right?
Okay, but I'm saying he goes behind before his friend dies.
Okay, he's already behind Jogo when the things are summoned. Okay, you understand that, right?
He's already behind Jogo when the things are summoned?
Yes.
Potentially.
What do you mean potentially, Tanwin? That's the case. That's where he dies. Behind Jogo.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he dies behind Jogo, but I'm saying Naobito's behind him. I don't
he
know.
He dies behind him, but he's not behind him. I'm so happy I got this on recording. Are you, bro? Like, why can't people just talk to me honestly?
No,
like,
what I'm saying. Okay. You're not understanding.
Wait.
What I'm saying
Tomlin, listen to me.
I'm listening.
It's not potentially. He dies behind Naobito, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so he dies behind Jogo, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so then he's behind Jogo because he died.
That's after. Okay. We're talking about different things, Jester. That's why you think I'm being confused. I'm not.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is Naobito's in front of Jogo. Naobito goes behind Jogo. His friend died before Naobito even went behind him. That's what I'm saying. Is that okay with you?
Wait, hold on. Can you hear me? Oh my goodness, you're so dumb. Okay. What I'm saying is that he has to cancel his movements, right? And then he gets frozen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm saying that he already pulled off a move in this interval of time. When his friend dies, he's already behind Jogo. It's literally on panel. Like I'll post it in general. It's on panel. When his friend is dead, he's already clearly behind Jogo, and I'll post this in general for everybody to see. He's clearly behind Jogo. Before he even gets to move, Jogo splits the crap out of him.
Why are we assuming that, bro? I don't understand why we're assuming
because
that
he doesn't move.
Moving.
Because he doesn't move from the same position and just dies to the volcano. So I'm not assuming it. I just know it is for a fact. It's on the freaking page. Like I'm looking.
No, he's not at the same position. He's not because okay. Let me ask you this.
Talon, I think you have a mental. Okay, Talon.
Jester, it's 24 movements.
Tony, I know it's.
Him going behind him is one movement. He can't just stop now. That's concession.
24 move. That's not a concession. Oh, are you serious? Wait,
no,
wait.
I'm saying if you agree that he stopped, then that's a concession.
Okay, everything. No. I'm saying that Okay. Do you even understand how like frames work?
The frames?
Do you understand? Like, do you play video games? Like, do you play like Modern Warfare and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you understand like how FPS frames per second? That's what he's using.
I know.
So I don't know what you're talking about, saying that he has to do 24 movements in this situation, because that makes no sense.
It says it. I'll show you.
This dude is retarded.
Okay. The thing I sent. 1 second. Okay. Let me send the thing for projection source to me. 1 second. Yeah. I'll just grab the data book one.
I think before he even gets to use his projection sorcery in this situation where he's actually just sitting there for a second watching his friend die, he just gets violated. I think it was just a clear blitz of like not understanding what's happening in the situation. Because what he's explaining is like frame delay, by the way. Like when people get like FPS drops and freeze. Yeah, that's what he's explaining. Yeah, but I don't think the conditions for him getting FPS drops were met in this situation.
Okay, so you agreed, like what they're doing, they're framing, those frames include movements, because that's what they're framing the movements. That's what it says in the data book.
Yeah, frames per second, right? Okay, you ever played Modern Warfare and you get like 60 frames? Okay, when you're not doing 24 movements in one jump. That's not how it works.
That's fine.
Okay, so then what you were saying earlier is just course grab.
No, but what I'm saying is in this case, those frames, those individual frames, because these movements have to be made within a second, by the way. So these individual frames within that second.
Okay, how do I explain? If you're moving, so let me explain his curse technique, since I don't think you're getting it, since obviously you haven't played any video games in your life for some odd reason. It's not necessarily, because I could do one movement, right? Because I'm playing right now. I'm playing League of Legends right now, right? I'll actually just stream my screen. I'll explain. I'm gonna explain it to you. Okay. Are you looking at my screen?
Look at my screen. Yeah.
Okay. You see how I'm not moving 102 times within a second? Yeah. Obviously not, right? Okay. You know how I have 100 frames per second right now?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on the idea that I wouldn't necessarily have to move like 100 times a second or 24 times in a second.
Okay.
But what the technique makes me do is move, what's it called? Because you agree like each frame individually contains one part of your movement, no? If you're moving, each frame would contain one part of your movement.
What I'm trying to get at is that because that was your argument earlier, talking about how he had to move like 24 times right there, and then he did it, and then he froze up. So like that obviously doesn't work in the situation, because what I'm saying is that before he even gets to use his projection sorcery and mess up like the visual output, or like, you know, play around with the frames to try to even do anything, before he even gets to use his projection sorcery, his friend dies in the same situation, and so before he even gets to quote unquote react or do anything, he just gets violated. That's
Jester, look in scans. I'll send you this, right?
Go ahead.
Because you're saying that it doesn't necessitate 24 different movements. What I'm saying is the technique requires 24 movements, and Maki says this. It says you make 24 movements per second when Naya's using projection sorcery. So yes, it doesn't necessitate it, but this technique in itself requires this, like this trait.
Okay, hold on, give me a second.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this guy. Let me pull off this game so I go read this game. Oh my god, bro. Okay. And she's talking to Naobito. What's the statement? Can you read off for me?
Naya, okay. she goes 24 times, right? You and Naobito just aren't fast. Something felt strange. You make 24 movements per second. With this body, I can finally see that. There you go.
Okay. So, in reference to that, the explanation for that would be he basically makes it in a way to where the person that he's fighting is moving at a lesser frame rate than him. So it's like a visual, like I appear faster type thing.
Wait, repeat that again?
He makes it so that the person that he's fighting, he appears faster to them.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's the point of like dividing the frames.
Yeah, so they appear slower, so they're not necessarily slower. So when she talks about these 24 movements, it's not necessarily that he's doing 24 actions at once, but in the way that like their perspective is split up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, again, so what you're saying, it appears that way, but isn't in actuality like 24 different movements. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's how frames work.
Not inherently, because obviously you agree like different frames can contain like different pieces of like your movements, right?
It's how do I explain? It's just visual perspective. So it's like a ratio, if you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So if you're playing in a 24 frame game with somebody, right? Let's say they're both in a 24 frame situation and she's moving 1 per 24 frames, she's going to visually appear slower than the other person, even though inside the game, right, they're not slower than each other, but it's just like she's like blitzing herself because she can't detect his movements.
It's like lag, right?
Yeah, literally, that causes lag. It literally causes lag, legit.
Okay, yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is, you'd agree those lags are hindering your movements, right?
Okay, but that's what I'm getting at. I'm saying that he's not literally moving 24 times in a second. I think that statement is like bad.
An exaggeration. Again, you're saying that generally, obviously, like 24 frames wouldn't catch like a bunch of movements, right? That's what you're saying, right? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay. And what I'm saying is, in this case, since it's a curse technique which you do unconventional things, I don't think that rule would inherently have to apply here.
I mean, I understand curse techniques do unconventional things. They explain how the curse technique works, and it fits my criteria. I think Maki's explanation is just a misunderstanding of what's happened.
No. This like situation, Maki saw both Naobito and Naya, and she's come to this conclusion after encountered both of these people and watching both of them use it.
Okay, that's fine. She could encounter both of the techniques and still not understand how it works properly. Do you know that?
Yeah, I think that's baseless.
It's not baseless because they explain how it works. I explained to you how frame data works, and I've just substantiated that claim twice. So
yeah, in general cases, sure.
It's not baseless.
In general cases, sure.
It's not baseless. Then what? You can't dismiss it. You have to attack it.
Not really, because if you want to make a general case and I explain to you and you agree that curse techniques work in unconventional ways, then it's not substantiating what you're saying.
I said curse techniques in general. I understand, but they specifically explain how this curse technique works. So.
Okay, curse techniques in general including this curse technique.
Okay, they work in unconventional ways due to like the regular laws of reality. That's fine. Because obviously nobody's gonna rearrange my like unconventional in the sense that nobody's gonna rearrange the way my frames work IRL. That makes no sense. So yes, in that case, it's unconventional. I agree, but what I'm saying is that they word for word explain how this works.
Yeah. Okay, I think that supports my idea of it, but do you want to move on? Because, again, I think we'd just be going in circles, but it's up to you.
Okay, you want to get a moderator?
A moderator or a judge?
So that we catch each other. I mean, you could be both.
Sure, I guess. Let me see. Who's in VC? Center, you want to moderate? Center.
Nah, my little niece clans want me to do something for him, so I can't.
Okay. Oh yeah.
We get Jutsu.
Jutsu, are you fine with moderating?
Yeah, I got y'all, boys.
All right, bet. So, wait, let me slide you to the params real quick. Yeah, there you go. All right, but so this was just my argument for why he perception. Oh, did we go over him perception blitzing, Jogo?
No, we haven't gotten into that yet. Yeah, Juju, have you heard what we said so far?
He says he's fine.
Since like when? Like since what time? Because I joined a little late. I like just now kind of joined.
Oh.
We're talking about how they're not literally doing 24 movements in one go.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that part. I just heard the part where I was like, it's baseless that they would like understand the technique or something like that.
Yeah, can you repeat your argument for? Because I said I'll say mine first. I said that the way that frames work in Jujutsu Kaisen, and I equated it to like that of a video game, that it's more of like a visual thing, and it's literally just skewing perception, and for somebody to move slower than you, and it's not somebody literally doing 24 movements. It's frames a second. It's more of like the speed of the movement. And then Maki goes, oh, because of the 1 per 24 frame rule. She's like, oh, you're doing like 24 movements in one go, which is completely incorrect to how the curse technique is explained. And Naobito explains it perfectly. And then he's like, oh, Maki fought alongside Naobito and fought Naoya, so she should know how it works. And I said, that's not enough justification for her knowing the ins and out of the curse technique. So that's my argument. Tanwin can give his.
Okay. All I'm saying is that Maki's fought with both of these people, right? And then she goes, okay, it's 24 movements in a second. Like, she comes to this conclusion, right? And then she tells us, right? And then I'm like, okay, 24 movements. What Jester says is, generally in video games, he doesn't show the consistency in JJK. He just says, generally in video games, right? 24 movements. Obviously, all of these frames aren't going to catch like 200 movements, right?
I'd even say just in video games, by the way. I'm literally saying like in Jiu-Jitsu, they're not doing 20 movements a second.
Yeah, you didn't show consistency in JJK though.
I already told you. You agreed with me. Everybody heard you that Naobito is not doing 24 movements in one moment.
What? I sent the panel to prove that.
No.
We can look back at the recording, but that was my whole point. But I was saying he does 24 movements, and then I was saying, sure, it can be the case in video games or generally, but JJK techniques are unconventional. He agrees they're unconventional, so this doesn't apply to this at all because it doesn't work in conventional ways.
He's ratting. Yeah, Jutsu. I told them
it's a technique.
And then yeah, but I'm gonna explain because we just had this type of engagement right here. I told them they're unconventional in the way that they defy the regular laws of reality, because obviously some nigga's not gonna walk up to me and make me abide by a 124 frame rule in real life. So, like, in proportion to the regular laws of physics, they're unconventional. I perfectly agree. But when they explain word for word how a techniques work and it matches up with that of regular video games, I think, I have a consistency on my side to prove how it works.
Okay, but you're like limiting the idea of what curse techniques are in unconventional ways. What I'm saying, it's unconventionality, right? It could be, just not working in normal ways. It makes 24 movements a second. What's wrong with that? It verbatim says it.
That's okay. Oh my goodness. Naoya verbatim says it.
Maki verbatim also says it.
No, not Naoya. Yeah, I'm talking about I'm not Naoya. I meant Maki. I meant the statement. That's what I'm saying. But that's the statement that's in question right now. You're using the statement that's in question to evidence the other stuff when we're talking about an evidence in proportion to mine. All I'm saying, Tanwin, is that it's explained in a way that fits my criteria. Then you try to say, oh, it's unconventional, so it can work in this way. I told you in the way that it's unconventional. It's unconventional in the sense that it defies the laws of physics, right? But then I understand that it defies the laws of physics, but just because it defies the laws of physics doesn't mean that curse techniques work in specific ways, which they do. and he explained the
Jester.
specific way in which it works.
Jester, I don't think we're on the same wavelength right now because what you're saying
We're
is
definitely not because you're probably retarded.
what you're saying is it's shown to work in this way, but critics are unconventional. I'm asking you where in JJK does it work this way? You say it's the case in video games, so your correlation is contingent on the video game example solely. There is no other
No,
consistency.
that's untrue. I literally told you, Naobito does not move 24 times in one go.
Why?
I literally explained how the curse technique works, and you agreed with me. I was like,
in video games, yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know.
no, even here, he just perspective diffing him, and I explained to you how frame data works. That's the basis.
In video games, yeah.
Okay, the basis of this technique is frame data. They're using frame data, which correlates to real life.
And the way they tower frame data is different, right? The way they tower frame data is they split each movement into 24 frames, and they say 24 movement. So it's not a defeater. I know that.
You said they split each movement into 24 frames.
They split each move. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think that's true. That's not what they say on the page.
If you think that, we can move on. I don't know.
Okay, Jutsu, what's your thoughts on that? On that right there, I think that nigga's dumb as hell. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think he's really just a talker.
I thought I was the moderator.
This Jutsu, you are the moderator.
Nah, nigga, they appointed you as moderator and judge.
He didn't know what he got himself into.
Wait. Oh shit. Wait, now I'm just a moderator.
He is a moderator.
Oh wait, did you just ask me for who won? I barely heard you. That's what it sounded like you said.
It's cool, Jester. We have the recording. We can just send that to whoever
Bro,
we
I hate
agree
using
on.
recording. I want to get a judge now.
Bruh. Well, y'all don't have a judge?
We don't have a judge.
So. Oh fuck no. Niggas ain't asked me to judge. I would have just said no.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can't do much about it. Do you want to just go on to the next thing?
I mean, I think it's a crucial point to move on.
I mean, we can just keep. Let me think. If that's your main thing for Jogo, we can just keep it contingent. Keep your Naobito skilling. I mean, Jogo skilling contingent on that, and we can get into why I think Naobito wins. If you're cool with that.
Yeah. Why do you think Naobito wins?
Okay. Naobito, right before this, he perception blitzes Jogo, and Dagon says that he should be faster than Jogo.
Show the statements.
I got you. Be such a good arc. Dagon stuff is 107. All right, perfect. Yeah, check scans. There you go. So the first one is the blitz, and the second one is Dagon's statement.
I'll be there in a second.
Okay.
Okay. Look at all this noise.
Wait, so what's going on?
Yeah, I'm about to read this game. Okay. This fight, he's fast, probably faster than Jogo. Yeah, he says probably. I think his basis for that is because his perception. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff that we're about to get into is just gonna be purely based off the first point. You know that, right?
Okay, we can keep that contingent on the first point.
Because we're about to quote. Says my response to these scans is gonna be that what he did to him was purely skew his perception. That he's not literally faster.
What's stopping from doing that again?
And I'm gonna say, he kind of blitzes him. His cursing nature is just outright faster.
Okay, so okay, fine. So you're cool with just keeping the entire thing contingent on the first point, because all of our scaling just stems from there.
Okay.
So, cool.
The rest of the game is contingent on that. Yeah, I'll just stop the recording.